everybody, welcome to ArtSupplyGuide.com. I'm your host Bree Tobias, and today we are going to be doing a product review on the Elmer's brand paint markers. And these paint markers that we're going to talk about today, we're going to discuss some of the more regular colors, primaries and secondaries, and also the neon series. And this here is an example of one of my paintings that I had done where I incorporated both paint pens and acrylic paints. So today what we're going to do is we are going to do a demonstration with some of these paint pens and find out just how well they stack up with the other artist materials and how they perform in the studio. Let's get started. Here is a quick sample. If you really look closely, I got very rushed and impatient, and some of the areas have a bleed. I did not let these colors dry before layering them, so the surface is still moist and you're going to get a little bit of bleed. However, you can see how well these colors work on top of a solid surface. You can layer them and work with them in order to have really nice artwork and a lot of control as well. Alright, this is a painting that I did, and it's actually done on a piece of just 3/4 inch plywood. I added a hanger onto the back. It was just a piece of scrap wood that I had that I wanted to mess around with and try to, like, you know, create something different that was out of my comfort zone, working on a different surface other than paper or canvas. And I had with me the Painter's Neon paint marker set. And I used all the colors except for the yellow. And then I actually incorporated acrylic paints into this painting. I started by taking this piece of plywood, and for the sake of the absorbency of wood, I like to add a thin layer of Liquitex Matte Medium. And basically what that is it is a fluid, pigmentless acrylic, kind of like a binder. It's a plastic base, just like any acrylic paint. You can add it to any of your acrylic paints to help thin them down, to make them more transparent. You can water it down and use it similar to a decoupage glue. Whenever I've done my watercolor collage artwork, I use a diluted Liquitex matte medium, but it acts as a barrier on top of the wood, and you're just to take this wood, sand it down, and add a thin layer of the matte medium. It will dry transparently, and basically it acts as a sealant to the wood to allow your paint to stand up on top of it instead of bleeding, and that's what you really want to try to avoid, is to having it bleed if you're wanting to have these crisp, defined lines. So first off, I actually incorporated some a white paint pen that was not part of the set. I drew everything down in pencil and then started laying down the white base coat first, and then after that worked into putting down some of the blues, the neon pinks, and the oranges. And then afterwards I mixed up a pink acrylic paint for the ice cream, and I mixed a purple acrylic paint for the bow. And then after all that dried, I went back predominantly with acrylic paint and outlined in black. And then for the sake of going quicker and having more control, I incorporated some Sharpie marker for some of the other line work on the mouth and the scalloped edges around the eye sockets and some of the scroll work. Just like I said, for the sake of speeding up the project, and they kind of blend together. I really don't see much of a difference between the two as to which one is paint and which one is marker. So that's pretty much what you can get out of the Painter's brand paint markers. They do work well on paper as long as it's a heavy enough paper to hold up to moisture so it won't buckle or warp. You could probably use them on a heavy-duty marker paper, and they work well on solid surfaces, just like this wood here. They will stick nicely to plastic, you know, for labeling or any other types of custom artwork that you want to incorporate onto certain things, like maybe a child's toy, or just doing some sort of customizable work on maybe a vinyl toy. So if you want to give them a shot, I would highly recommend these Painter's paint markers. They are definitely a very cost-friendly investment for the art studio. They do help speed along some of your work. For some of the simpler types of things, they are a very good asset to have.